Welcome back to 101 East. Joining us now to talk about the challenges facing Mongolia today, we have with us newly elected President Elbegdorj. Thank you very much for joining us today. Mr. President, you ran your campaign on a platform of change. You won 50% of the votes, which really is not a very large margin at all. How different are your policies compared to the previous president?
I will continue the best policies implemented by the previous president. The main difference of my policies is to set justice in Mongolian society, to fight corruption and create more opportunities and freedom for ordinary citizens and allow them more rights.
When you mention freedom, what do you mean by freedom?
In 20 years, we have done a lot and achieved many successes. However, there are many things we haven't done. Actually, we are now able to solve political issues in Ulaanbaatar, which used to be solved in Moscow. Now, the second phase of our democratic revolution is to shift the power from the center, Ulaanbaatar, to local provinces and local people.
What do you hope to achieve as president that you couldn't achieve as prime minister?
The main work which I do as president is to manage and appoint the Supreme Court and law authorities. As president, it's important to implement justice and law through the Supreme Court and law authorities. This is the main difference of the president. In this direction, I can do the main change, I think. If justice is set in society, wealth can be created. This is what I think.
As Prime Minister, you vowed to crack down on corruption. In 2005, you were quoted as saying, "We will identify the causes and then bulldoze the corruption." Now, as President, you're vowing again to crack down on corruption. How do you expect to do this as President, something that you weren't able to do as Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister is appointed from the Parliament in our country. As Prime Minister, I could work and understand the other parties with 90% negotiation and understanding. However, the main thing was we had different opinions on corruption. As the Prime Minister was appointed from the Parliament, it was a risky step to seek justice and fight corruption. I was appointed as the Prime Minister from the Parliament twice and I fought against corruption twice. This is the main reason I had to give up the Prime Minister's position. The main issue this time is I've been elected by the citizens. Being elected by citizens brings the opportunity to seek justice in society. By being elected by citizens, there is immunity.
Your relationship with Prime Minister Bayar is known to be antagonistic. You also have to work with a MPRP-controlled parliament. Do you see this as an obstacle in you trying to push forward the changes that you've promised the people of Mongolia?
The government, which is led by Prime Minister Bayar, is a coalition government from the Mongolian People's Revolutionary Party and the Democratic Party. So this government has mandates from both parties. The second issue is, this is a period of crisis. We need to solve problems together instead of having political arguments. In the Parliament, our Democratic Party has got more than 1/3 of seats. This means the Mongolian President has a right to prohibit any decisions from the Parliament by law. If 1/3 of Parliament members support this prohibition, it will be valid. On the other hand, it gives opportunities to work with the minority of the Parliament. It makes the majority of the Parliament act carefully and to make decisions that the minority like.
This would also mean that there'll be a lot of back and forth, wouldn't there be? Parliament will put forth the legislation, you can veto it, and Parliament will then vote on it again. So your changes will actually take a long time to be implemented, wouldn't it?
We have been doing it this way for 18 or 20 years, so there won't be many difficulties, I think.
The World Bank has said that it is vital for the mining sector to be reformed and to go ahead in order for the economic progress of Mongolia. One project that seems to be standing in the way is the $3 billion Oyu Tolgoi copper and gold mine deal. And this project has been languishing in Parliament since 2005. How soon can we see a resolution?
Since Mongolia started to have a free market economy in the mining sector, the Oyu Tolgoi is our biggest project. But because it's the first big project, we have many things we don't know and we can't do. Because of this situation, this project has been held up. Mongolian citizens are expecting lots of profits and big development opportunities from the Oyu Tolgoi project. On the other hand, there is interest from investors, so it's not very easy to work to get the balance of these two things. Recently, since 2005, a good thing has happened in Mongolia. There have been wide open discussions in society about the project. As the President, I need to continue this discussion. On the other hand, we need to reach a consensus on it. Now the possibility to have the final decision is closer than at any other time, I think.
Will you renegotiate this project so that Mongolians will have a larger share in the deal?
Mongolia is a rich country with its minerals that we know of, and the worth of minerals per capita places it as one of the world's top 10 wealthiest countries. However, the people's average living standards place it 150th in the world. If you can't get shares from the profits from the country's minerals, we will remain as poor as we are now. So we need to change that. The way we change it, as the ordinary citizens should have the opportunity to distribute the wealth and to get shares from the profit, not the government officials or small groups of foreign and domestic people who want the profits, while the ordinary people get nothing. It doesn't work. It will bring difficulties to society.
That's certainly very understandable, but in wanting to please the investors, and at the same time wanting to please the people who voted you into power, are you going to renegotiate this deal so that Mongolia will get a larger share?
It is vital to achieve the final result. On the other hand, an important issue is how the Mongolians will get a share of the profits. The most important thing is for Mongolian professionals to work on the project, so that Mongolians get employment and there is development of Mongolian infrastructure and many other things.
There is a global economic slump at the moment. Mineral prices are falling. Mongolia's economic forecast is standing at a mere 2% this year. One major bank has collapsed. The IMF is providing a $229 million US dollar loan to Mongolia, and the World Bank says mining projects are crucial for Mongolia's economic recovery. Are you feeling the pressure to rush into this deal in order to stem rising unemployment and poverty here in Mongolia?
I agree with international financial institutions' conclusion that the main way for Mongolians to get out of today's financial crisis is to solve the problem of mining issues.
The MPRP has dominated Mongolian politics now for like 90 years now, and they've developed strong ties with Russia. How do you think Moscow will take to a pro-democracy leader like yourself in their neighborhood?
Our relation with Russia and China is not a recent issue. It has lasted over centuries. We never choose our neighbors. The good relations which are being implemented with the two neighboring countries should be carried on and strengthened.
Russia supplies 90% of Mongolia's energy supply. It is the 7th largest investor in this country. It owns a large part of Mongolia's commodities and transport sectors. It's refusing to update the Mongolian railway system. Is Mongolia being held ransom by Russia?
In general, our main interest is to balance the interests of our two neighbors with maintaining third investment in the country. The issue will be solved after discussing it with the government and parliament. I don't think it will be a difficult issue.
Just looking ahead, Mr. President, what do you think will be your main challenges in your coming term?
Of course, the most difficult issue facing Mongolia is extreme income distribution. Currently, only a small percentage of the population has a comfortable life, and the majority live in poverty in Mongolia. We need to change this situation first. Secondly, we need to stop the spread of corruption and the misuse of opportunities by the elites in higher positions who take advantage of democratic society. On one hand, we need to set justice in society. On the other hand, my main goal is to implement policies as president to support and help improve the lives of every Mongolian family and every Mongolian's living standards. I want to implement this and put the country in the right direction, set justice in society and lead the people into better living. These are my main duties, I think.
Mr. President, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have. From the 101 East team in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, thanks for watching.